Welcome back to a special edition of The Lead. Let's take a break from our politics lead and talk about our world lead. An explosion rocking Afghanistan's capital today, with the Taliban claiming responsibility for the attack that killed at least 28 people, mostly civilians. Let's turn to CNN's Paton Walsh. Nick, thanks for joining us. At least 28 people are dead, more than 300 wounded from this attack in Kabul. This is part of the Taliban's pre-announced spring offensive?
It seems like it. It is a common tactic, Jake, for them to penetrate into what many people in Kabul consider to be the ring of steel that surrounds the government-controlled capital. This attack, cynically planned for the morning. Actually, the first blast there using a suicide bomber in a truck, blowing up in a private parking lot where there were a lot of civilians going their way to work, going to school. That parking lot annexed onto the back of a compound where part of the security services have one of their headquarters. This particular part, actually bodyguards effectively responsible for looking after Afghan VIPs. That was the Taliban's target, a second assailant using the blast, having blown a hole in the wall to get in and then begin attacking inside there. It seems to have taken a number of hours, in fact, for that second attacker to have been killed. Remarkable, though, 300 injured. Jake, worth pausing on that number. 300 lives changed to some degree today. A blast so powerful, in fact, it shook many people blocks away.
So what can you tell us about the individuals who were killed and wounded? Were they Afghan VIPs?
A lot of them appear to have been civilians, women and children. We don't have a precise breakdown of who the victims ended up being, but the major concern here is it simply adds to the civilian toll. The UN pointing the finger at the Taliban for being behind record numbers of casualties. 3,500 civilians killed last year in the violence. And I have to point out, too, part of the reason we're seeing a slide in security in Afghanistan, Jake, is because Afghan security forces are being hit particularly hard as well. They last year lost 5,500 amongst their soldiers, police and other security service numbers. That's way more than the NATO campaign lost in its entire decade there. So they're being hit very hard. That's affecting their training program that's run by the US, and that in turn affecting their ability to hold territory from the Taliban, which now control more of Afghanistan than any time, say US officials, since 2001, Jake.
All right, Paton Walsh, thank you so much. Appreciate it.